Yeah, it's a hit, isn't it? Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Awesome performance. Awesome performance. So, 62 yards. I remember early on Monday morning, I think it was, you seemed to, I asked you how you were going, and I was surprised when you told me your foot was hurting a bit because you were looking really good at the time. Do you remember that?
Monday morning.
Or Sunday morning.
Sunday morning.
No, Monday morning, because it's Monday night now.
Is it Monday? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I forget what night it is. So this morning.
Yeah.
Um, what did I say? My foot was...
Yeah, you just mentioned that your feet were, you had a hot spot on your foot.
Oh, yeah.
It was wrapped up.
Yeah.
When did the race start getting hard for you?
I struggled in the first 10 hours, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's always hard when you struggle early in these because you have obviously an expectation that you're going to go and do your PB and more.
Yeah.
Everyone just thinks, James, you'll be here for a few days, and it's like, God, I don't feel like being here for a few days, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just felt like it was going to be tough, and I had to work hard through that first 5 to 10 hours, just to sort of settle in. And I think backyard ultras always go to the first 10 hours seems to go very slow, and you got to be really patient because you kind of just want to get to the get a bit deeper, but unfortunately you have to go hour by hour. So
So would you say that this was the hardest first 10 hours you've had in a backyard ultra?
No, I think Biggs was the hardest.
Yeah.
We were running around that track at Laz's place thinking, what the hell have we got ourselves into here?
Yeah.
But one of the interesting things I've been thinking about with the difference with Biggs, because you get a night loop there, which is a road, and there you get 13 hours of night loop per day. So you only get, if you run for 3 days, you get 11, essentially 33 times you do the day loop, and 39 times you do the night loop. And the night loop you can switch off and just run, and do quite a quick lap, get back to your tent. It's easy to drop a 41, 42 and get back and have that time for sleep. And I found here at Dead Cow, particularly on that second night, it was really starting to get hard to put a decent time in. And I worked very hard, particularly between about midnight and 4 a.m. that second night, just to get back in a decent time. I was still going 51, 52, and then you just don't get that sleep and rest time.
I think because you were, there was no secret that you guys wanted to break 100 and all that kind of stuff, and because that was the plan, did you feel like you had to run fast in that night so you could get the sleep? Like, did you feel extra pressure to run fast?
I don't think I came here thinking about the 100 too much. I think probably Sam did. And Ryan. I never really have a huge goal on it other than just to take one at a time. So no, I wasn't putting too much pressure on myself to get sleep. What I thought was, look, just get through the night, and then when it gets back to daylight, you just suddenly do the loop back in the 46s, 47s. It felt like you were going the same pace, but just the difference between nighttime and daytime. So you're back doing 46s in the morning, and you can basically sleep then. But I was putting the headphones on, and I just wasn't going to sleep. So there's a few things I need to work on. It's definitely one of them out of this.
As far as Biggs go, like, you were on the podcast and we discussed all that, but after the podcast, you actually got a proper diagnosis for what was wrong.
You
actually had a pretty serious issue, I guess you could call it, deep vein thrombosis.
So the specialist on the Gold Coast said basically you don't have a fracture. It was just grade 1 tears to the ligaments and tendons down my left ankle. But then she picked up what my calf was doing because it was like a brick. And so she had a theory that it was DVT, and she set me straight for an ultrasound.
Yeah.
And I literally went straight for that ultrasound in half an hour.
Yeah.
And got on the blood thinners.
Yeah.
So I had 3 clots. One of them was 25 centimetres long.
Jesus.
Yeah, and in my calf. So that had come from being immobile post bigs in a moon boot. Turns out I didn't need to because I didn't have a fracture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Did you have to race against the club? Given you had DVT, like, I know that you took a bit of time off running. You kept a bit of fitness by cycling and stuff. But was it a race to get fit enough for this race after having that? Yeah,
it was a real issue. So I was pretty much immobile for 6 weeks after Tennessee.
Yeah.
And already that's sort of taking me mid-December.
Yeah.
And January, really all I could do was cycle.
Yeah.
And a bit of running, just getting back into it. Once I sort of got rid of the swelling and everything in the ankle. But then I was under a physio doing rehab exercises. So I mean, even in January, I was doing single leg calf races to get this, to earn the right to run again.
Yeah.
So then I had February, March, and April as big volume training months.
Yeah.
But I couldn't do what I'd usually do. I train for a backyard ultra almost like I'm just going to run a 100-miler. So you do speed work, you do tempo work, you do intervals. And I haven't been doing any of that work.
Yeah.
So to come here, again, that's why I thought, like, I wouldn't have put 100 target on me because I'm not sure I could even... honestly, if you'd have asked me, I thought, I don't know how fit I am coming here.
Yeah.
I really don't know. And I don't know what my tendon's going to do.
Yeah.
It could have really flared up. And then even in the first 5 yards here, I was thinking, I can feel a tendon. And it feels like it's going to be a problem. Right. But it wasn't.
Yeah.
It sort of sorted itself out and didn't do anything. In fact, it's the other side ankle that's got the swelling on it.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah, which is the same swelling that happened last year here, and the reason why I stopped when I was the assist for Ryan.
So, when you were the assist for Ryan that year, I was wondering, like, I remember that you told me that you stopped because of that issue with your foot was swelling up. To touch it was absolute agony.
Yeah, it was just really hurting.
Yeah.
And the dorsiflex of the ankle.
And so at around how many, like, and I know that you continued at Biggs with a really sore foot as well.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how long were you running at Biggs for with the same pain that you had when you dropped out at Dead Cow Gully? When you were the assist?
Well, the thing that I was running on at Biggs that was probably the worst was the blisters.
Right, yeah.
Under my foot.
Yeah.
That were hot spots that turned into basically loose skin.
Yeah.
And that was hectic.
Right.
So once Ryan had taken my socks off, seen what was going on, he sort of strapped them. But there were points I'd put my... I'd go to like place my foot on a rock, just, running out there, and it would just shift slightly, so that the bandage and it would shift, and I'd just get a stinging pain at my leg. So that was hard. Not sure on the ankle over there, but at one point I remember on the night loop, just sort of coming in and out of sleep almost.
Yeah. And
I was thinking, what is that pain that I've got coming up my left shin?
Yeah. And
it was really hurting.
Yeah.
So I sort of just came to and went, oh, that's sore.
One of the talking points for this race was the relationship you and Ryan have. You've done a lot of training together. You did that hardcore 24-hour thing, your kickboxing stuff. But the main storyline going into the race with you and Ryan are going to be working as a team. So what type of things did you do together while you're out on course that you wouldn't have done like 12 months ago?
Well, there was a point in this race where we don't generally just start running side by side for the whole thing.
Yeah.
But when it did get down to, I think it was about 11 runners left, we did say, well, let's just stick together here. and get through this next period. But even like prior to me just dropping out then, we weren't running together, because it's always hard when there was a point in the race where I was running faster than him, and he was like, just go. And then right now he's running faster than me, and I'm like, just go. We don't need to. I just put the headphones in and do my loops at my pace. By the end there, I was probably doing a 52, 53 minute loop. I knew the timings of all the landmarks around to make sure that was happening. And that just felt good for me. I wasn't really forcing it. It wasn't a hectic loop. I didn't feel like I was, going too hard or anything. But yeah, I was starting to get really sore. Legs are sore.
Well, look, I mean, I think that you did an awesome job, man. Coming back after being injured, racing to get fit. 62, man. That's bloody unreal. 62. Your PB this time last year was 41. So you've gone, your last 3 backyard ultras, you've done 60, 72 and 62. That's bloody unreal. That's bloody unreal.
And there's always been points in those backyards where you're thinking, I'm never going to get to that number. I don't. Ryan and I sometimes talk. It's just not when you get into the 50s. It's not. You think, oh, I've done a good job here. Like 50s is a respectable number. Fine, I've got there. We were talking about that yesterday. But it was. I'm very happy with that. Actually, very happy with 62. My next number that I'd probably want to get is in the 80s, and out there just then I'm thinking, I don't really need to bust myself here to try and get the 80 or 85, and then potentially have another 5 weeks recovery with some injury. So I think I'll come out of this pretty fresh. I've proved to myself that I'm, the fitness is going in the right direction. And that was a big race, and it was amazing to be in the top 3. So I'm pretty stoked about that.
Definitely. Now, I'm assuming you don't have any backyard ultras planned until the Stat Champs. And every single backyard ultra fan in Australia is so pumped up to follow that race because the team we've got is awesome. You must be excited for that race.
Absolutely, and that's part of the reason it's in the back of my mind. That's the one you want to do well in. That's the one where you've got the stock there to take you. Even when if you're talking about Sam wanting 100 here, when you've got 3 guys left and at 45, I think the Japanese runner dropped out. You've got 3 runners left. It's going to be very hard to go to 120. You need that. You need a group energy, and that's why Harvey did so well at Bigs, because at 72 yards there was 23 runners left still. So there's a big group going forward, and everyone feeds off that as they eventually find a winner.
That's it. Because the Belgians had Frank the Tank with them till 67. And here at the Masters last year they had Harvey Lewis till not in the 90s. So it's a good point.
You need stock. And I truly believe you need a road night loop. But you need that switch off. I really think DCG with no road night loop. I know everyone hated it like at the Masters last year, but you're not doing 102 doing this track day and night. We'll see how Sam and Ryan go. If anyone can prove me wrong, they will. But they're not running together out there.
No, there's a big time difference.
They're really not. So they're both out there grinding alone. That's tough.
Which, especially at 10 o'clock when you've got the whole night.
I tell you, and then especially at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, those grim hours. I mean, out there last night, it got really misty and dewy, and we were just running in mist, and it was just hitting you in the face, and it's pretty grim out there.
Look, thanks for sticking around and talking to me.
It was a pleasure.
Because but you are one of my heroes. Like the progression, how much you've improved. I reckon you're an inspiration to a lot of backyard ultra runners out there.
Yeah.
And like I've got no doubt you're going to improve even further, and I can't wait to see what you do at the Sat Champs.
Awesome, mate.
And yeah, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Have a good night's sleep, mate.
Yeah, straight
and it's great to meet you in real life as well.
Yeah, it's really good to meet you too. Yeah, really good.
Yeah, cool.
Awesome, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Have a good night, mate.